For 100 years, companies like Chugats Electric have been generating electricity and delivering it to people like you. But something's happened. The cost for things like solar, batteries, and electric vehicles has come down over 80%. And that means for the first time, it's now cost effective to generate electricity locally rather than at the central generation plant. And so that means central generation is out and local generation is in. Bloomberg New Energy Finance estimates somewhere between 30 to 50% of energy is going to come from local sources. And as more and more people can afford batteries and electric vehicles and solar panels, as the cost comes down exponentially, the complexity of managing the grid, not just from an operation standpoint, but from a financial standpoint, goes up exponentially. So let me give you a good example of that. When Isaac goes out and gets his new Tesla, he needs to charge it. And traditionally, Chugats would be responsible for delivering that electricity to him. But if Elise puts solar panels on her house and the sun is shining and she is not home, she could sell her excess energy to Isaac. But this doesn't jive with the way that utilities do business right now, and it could actually increase the cost for the utilities to serve because they can't predict where Isaac is going to plug in his new car and where Elise is going to put in her panels. And so uh, the traditional flat fee model and the regulatory process holds back utilities from this new grid. So what if we could change this? What if we could encourage the right equipment in the right place at the right time and have full customer choice while maintaining the service of the utility? So I'm Killian Tobin, CEO, co-founder of Omega Grid. We've developed a peer-to-peer energy platform to enable utilities to manage all of the new generators and electric vehicles coming onto their grid. We take into account the safety of the grid so that even if a financial transaction can take place, if it can't be delivered, we don't allow it. So in the example I gave you before, we conduct a conversation between the buyers and sellers on the grid. So when Isaac needs to charge his car and a lease is available to sell it, we make sure it's safely delivered. We conduct the transaction and hold all of that information for settlement. We developed our platform using proprietary blockchain technology. We did it first and foremost because the more participants in this market, in a traditional market or database system, makes it more brittle. But in a blockchain market, it becomes more secure. So that enables us to have a higher resilience for the grid. It gives us the ability to back up all the information locally, and we can even conduct real-time transactions. So the money is moved at the same time the electricity is moved. This is an example of our software. This was a project that we did last summer in Sonoma, California at a winery. We pretended like every one of the buildings was a small home, and they all traded electricity back and forth with one another. So we tracked this information securely and locally over the course of about 6 months. This summer, we're working in Burlington, Vermont to help them reduce energy costs for their community, a very innovative project where the city will encourage folks to draw down electricity when electricity prices are the highest. And we're excited because there's a giant opportunity here in Alaska. Our software can work in the smallest rural communities, but if applied on the rail belt, there could be a potential of at least $30 million a year savings for the smart management of renewables for the citizens on the rail belt. Brought together a fantastic team. I'm here, and obviously my co-founder, Dr. Massimo De Piero. Everybody on the team has at least 10 years of experience spanning economics, market, distributed computing, and design and development. And you know, when we put the team together and started this, I first looked at it about 2 years ago, and I felt the problem, the cost, hadn't quite hit the point where it was an issue for utilities yet, that it was 10 years away. And then last year, I looked at the cost for batteries had dropped by 50%, and I said, this is now 5 years away, and I need to start now so that utilities can be ready for me. And now, a year later, we're having conversations with utilities all around the globe, and we want you to work with us to help bring the clean, low-cost grid of the future to us now.